Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout news video. So, last night Bethesda issued a new Inside the Vault blog post with a mysterious public test server update in it. So, yeah, this is interesting. So let's jump in and find out what they're up to, shall we? Okay, yeah, so Bethesda have issued a new Inside the Vault blog post. It's quite short and kind of vague because apparently they want us to test a mystery update on the public test server at the moment. So this blog post went out last night. The public test server eventually came up today. Apparently there were hiccups along the way. That's kind of what the test server's for, but there we go. But I have jumped in and had a look at least the first couple of bits and pieces. I'm guessing there are a whole bunch more. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's have a look at the blog post and see what they've said there. Okay, a nice shiny picture of the White Spring. Let's scroll. Inside the Vault, upcoming PTS and Invaders from Beyond returns. So, we'll get that bit out of the way while we're here, shall we? Invaders from Beyond returns on Tuesday, the 4th of July. That's this coming Tuesday. And it looks to be running for just over a week? A week, yeah. That's cool. Aliens are back for a week, so we can hunt them down, get the rewards. Doesn't sound like there's any new ones. And certainly acquire a lot of circuitry as well. And of course some new weapons and stuff, so that's quite cool. But yeah, on to the actually major stuff, the upcoming PTS stuff. So, we hope you're having a great summer thus far and enjoying the new public events and cryptos surfaced in Appalachia with our latest update once in a blue moon. Yes, been having fun with it, actually quite liking that update. We've been working hard behind the scenes to prepare for a journey to Atlantic City. And can't wait for you to experience this new area. So that's coming next year. That's the one they announced over the totally not E3 weekend. Well, weekend, I say weekend, it's actually more like a fortnight, to be honest, but anyway. Before we venture to the boardwalk, however, with some changes to the base game experience that we are eager to hear your feedback on in our PTS. Okay, so, base game experience changes. So, for this round of our public test server, we're going to do things a little differently. For starters, we're not going to tell you exactly what we changed. At least not yet. Okay, that's different. We've made some significant changes to the base game that you will notice upon starting a brand new character and venturing outside of the vault. Because of this, we will not import existing characters to the PTS right away as usual. Apparently that's going to happen later from this anime. Instead, take yourself back to the moment you booted up 76 for the first time and let us know what the experience feels like. After you've had a full weekend to explore and play, we'll return with an update highlights and changes article with high-level details on what changes were made. Okay, so as usual, the PTS is just available on Steam, so those are on Steam and playing on PC, have a base copy of the game, also have access to the public test server, and they're wanting the feedback as usual in the Discord server or via the website and the support pages if you don't have access to Discord. So, fairly standard. But very, very vague. So, this is probably about the point to jump out. Obviously, I've dropped the odd hint here, but if you don't want to know what this stuff is before you find out for yourselves, here is your spoiler warning. Because ready, steady, go, new stuff. So, this sounds like there is going to be a reasonable amount of stuff throughout the game. Obviously, that's going to take a while to actually discover and get into, but the initial things are quite visible. So, booted up a new character, started this character out, wandered through the vault. Not a lot changing on the inside of the vault as far as I can see. Maybe some minor tweaks to dialogue lines, but it's been a while since I ran through the vault, so I'm not 100% sure on that. However, what I had noticed is as we get towards the exit, the perk cards, where you normally pick them up from the standee on the way out, they're not there anymore. That had changed a little bit anyway in the past with legendary perks and various other things. But they are not there anymore. So we head on over to the exit, make our way out of the vault, and what do we find? A new UI element that is basically giving us the opportunity to either start at level 1 if you're a brand new player and you want to slowly explore your way through, makes sense, or if you are on a new character and you've previously gone through that, or you just want to get a burning head start, you can jump straight to level 20. And there are a section of loadouts here that you can check out. We've got pistols and shotguns and melee and automatic rifles and a few other bits and pieces. There are obviously a whole bunch of potential possibilities there that aren't listed, but this is probably not such a bad thing, as most of the speccing into that can be done later, and it's just to get you hitting the ground running, or at least that's the vibe that I get from this. But yeah, you got the option to dive in and start out with a level 20 character when you leave the vault instead of a level 1 character. And it gives you a full set of level 20 leather armor, which is actually a tiny little bit underpowered compared to where you would be at level 20 if you'd started from level 1. You'd be on metal armor by then, at least, I think. And it also gives you a selection of weapons and things, and a few other bits and pieces too. Other than that, you emerge from the vault, and the quests pop up as per usual, and the game starts as if you were at level 1, except that you are slightly higher level, a little bit more powerful, and you can jump into slightly more dangerous content, venture on a bit further, and hopefully plough through that early part of the game a bit faster if you happen to have been through it before. So that's interesting. The next thing I notice is I'm not entirely sure if this is an actual change or something I've just missed from before, or if it's just a random thing, but in the immediate area around Vault 76, instead of the usual liberators that are running around for you to shoot, there were ghouls this time. Or at least there were a lot of ghoul corpses, but I assume that's because a lot of other people came running out of the vault in front of me and shot them. So, not sure if that's a new change or just a random circumstance, but it's a thing. The bigger change is heading on to find the new box that is just below the entrance there. You go talk to Pennington, I think his name is. The Mr. Handy there, and just next to him there is a donations box. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a server-wide permanent box storage container type thing in which players can embrace the sort of positivity that's been around in 76 pretty much from day one, which is the whole old players donating stuff to new players, you know, the stim packs, water, weapons, armor, whatever. Anything you don't need that might be useful to a new character fresh out of the vault, you can dump in this box. Now we've got a fixed location that will presumably maintain its contents even after you log out, which doesn't necessarily always happen with the current setup on live servers. So we've got a dedicated place to drop in anything you don't want for the benefit of new players who can come along, help themselves, and off they go. System's slightly open to abuse from the look of things. Not that that's the end of the world, exactly. You're depriving people of something that they wouldn't have had anyway, so they're not losing out. But anybody can help themselves, so theoretically a high-level player could just yoink everything out of there and run off with it if somebody had a bad attitude. But as people are generally quite generous to new players, this is a pretty nice way to embrace that sort of spirit that's been in 76 since the get-go, which is really, really cool. The only other thing I have found so far is that I went to interact with an NPC just down the hill, and he was busy doing something and I couldn't interact with him. And rather than the usual kind of getting no feedback, I got a little notification saying they were getting up, I think it was. Which, to be fair, he wasn't doing anything of the sort. He was just kind of standing there and operating. I think he was just getting his map out or putting it away or something. But in either case, because he was in the middle of an action and couldn't be interacted with, the game was giving me feedback on that, which is new in itself. So there we go. This is very, very basic. This is the stuff that I have found so far. I've actually run on a little bit further than this and got to the Wayward and started that and got as far as Flatwoods in the immediate time since the PTS opened. And over the weekend I'll dive in, see a little bit more and try and discover what's what. And in the early part of next week we will get the update that Bethesda mentioned and find out what the actual details of these changes are. I say the details, they're talking about a high-level update, so I think they probably won't go into the fine nuance of it all, but they'll give you a general idea of what's in there. So it'll be interesting to see what other people discover over the weekend, what I might discover, and what Bethesda have got in mind. So looking forward to finding that one out on probably Monday, I would guess. Maybe Tuesday, but probably Monday. Either way, I will be all over that once we find out. So yeah, interesting set of little updates. Good for new players, good for people starting new characters as well. And definitely a whole bunch of resources available there that is quite nice. As for what the rest of it is, for me and for most players who are not starting new characters, the implication that they're going to bring your existing characters over at a later point in time does kind of suggest that there are other features that are geared towards existing characters that are further on through their lifespan. So it'd be interesting to see what else is there on down the line. But obviously this is immediately after the PTS has opened, so very early days at this point. So we'll have to see what we discover on down the line. Anyway, being as the content here is a little light on for the moment, we'll find out what happens at the beginning of next week. I will wrap this one up. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this interesting and informative. I'm looking forward to finding out more about what's going on in this little update. It's interesting to see Bethesda being a little bit mysterious. So hopefully there'll be other cool things to discover as we venture further on out. Yeah, keep it here if you want to find out more about it. Notification bell, likes, subs, all that good stuff, and then you'll get the updates as soon as I can put them out, basically, which is the plan for the beginning of next week. Obviously, live streams carry on as well, playing Fallout 76. We've got a few other bits and pieces on the go in the run-up to Starfield as well, which we will be streaming when the time comes, as well as making tons of content. And in the coming weeks, we'll be diving into the Starfield Showcase, pulling out some interesting bits and pieces and analysing that here and there as well. So do keep it here for all that stuff if you're interested in that as well. Notification bell and all that is your friend. As always, of course, social media links, merch store, channel memberships, all that good stuff down below the video as well. If you want to support the channel in those ways, massively appreciated, massively helps out. Huge thank you to everyone who's done that already as well. So, on that note, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.